Have you ever felt trapped? What do you do in those moments to break free? Almost immediately after the Jewish people leave Egypt, they're no longer slaves. They come up against a terrible predicament. They're traveling in the desert with their faces towards the sea. There's nowhere to go. And all of a sudden, they hear a rumbling. You may have experienced something like this if you've ever been in a very large crowd. And you can hear people in the back of the crowd shouting. Maybe a celebrity arrived, or maybe, God forbid, there's some sort of a terrorist attack. So you're craning your neck, trying to see over everybody else what it is that's happening over there. In this moment, at the sea, they can hear rumblings from the back of the Jewish people, the people who could see off in the distance. They had just left Egypt. They had just left behind the people who had tortured them for 200 years. And as they are looking in the distance, they see in the hazy heat, in the dust that rises in the desert, they can make out the shapes of the Egyptian army charging towards them. They started to hear the screams. The Egyptians are coming! The Egyptians are coming! And the terror that gripped the people was all encompassing. Not only were they screaming, the Jewish people did what they usually do. They started to pray to God in heaven. And as they pray and wail to God to be saved, God gives a perplexing message to Moshe. He says, Ma titzak elai. Why are you praying to me? Daber el bnei Yisrael. Speak to the Jewish people, v'yisau, and let them travel. But the obvious question is, to where? The answer is fascinating. It's almost as if God is communicating to Moshe and saying, I don't care where you go. It doesn't matter if you step forward into the ocean. It doesn't matter if you step forward towards the Egyptians to engage in that battle, to the left or to the right into the vast expanse of the desert stretching before them. Wherever you go, I will be with you. But just take a step, act on the faith that you have, and do something. In Australia, there was a nurse whose name was Bronnie Ware. Her job was to sit by the bedsides of people who were dying and take care of them and give them the last comforts that they could have on this earth. And after years and years of sitting at the bedsides of people who breathed their last, she compiled a list of the 5 things people regretted the most in their lives. The things that they told her that they wished they had done differently while they were alive. And the list might shock you. The 5 things that people regretted the most were, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life more true to myself. Not doing what other people wanted me to do, not doing things that people expected me to do, but to do the things that really made me happy. The second thing that she said was that I wished I hadn't worked so hard. So many people had spent all of this time amassing stuff, but it had cost them the things that they wished that they really could have done. Number 3 was that I wished that I had stayed in touch with close friends. Think about what that means. We all get busy, but the people that we've invested so much in throughout the duration of our lives, and the value that we get, and the feelings of warmth that we have when we share those friendships are too valuable to just ignore. The 4th was the wish that people had that they would have expressed their feelings. Maybe for someone that they loved or wanted to tell them that they loved them and didn't get the chance or the ability to express themselves fully. Maybe it's that they felt aggrieved or that someone had hurt their feelings, and instead of telling them how they felt, they just felt it was easier or more comfortable not to confront them. But they lived with the regret of the feelings that they hadn't expressed. And finally, the last one, which I think is the most tragic, the 5th was, I wish I'd let myself be happier. We are so self-critical. We set such high goals for ourselves, and those are good as things to aim for. But when we use those things as expectations by which we define whether or not we are successful at life, they can generate a world of pain. Most often, the things that we regret the most are not the things that we did. They are the things that we didn't do. We all know that we're going to make mistakes. We all know that as we try, as we attempt, Things may go wrong. What we regret the most is not having taken a chance. The message that Hashem is communicating to Moshe is mind-blowing. At a certain stage, praying does not denote faith, it denotes a lack of it. Because if you really believed that the master of the world was listening to your prayers, cared about you as much as he does, and was looking to make your life the best it could be, why aren't you acting like it? Why wouldn't you step forward? Why wouldn't you step to the Egyptians? Why wouldn't you step to the vast expanse of the desert? You know he has your back. Relying on prayer in that moment illustrates that you don't fully believe this concept. But in the wider sense, what we're being taught here is, when you are stuck and you are trapped, have some faith and then take a step, do something, act like you believe that someone's looking out for you. I'd like to end with an amazing quote from Mark Twain. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines. Sail away from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. Shabbat Shalom.